Hello, people. This is John Doe, and you are watching the Mitch Lafon, Jeremy White show. And it's a good thing because otherwise you'd be wasting your time just scrolling through things on your phone. Oh, God. Get off it. Listen to Mitch Lafon and Jeremy White. Come on, man. What's your problem?
That was the best.
The Mitch Lafon and Jeremy White Show.
The Mitch Lafon and Jeremy White Show.
Available wherever you stream.
Catch up on past interviews and episodes on demand now.
Subscribe so you don't miss any of it.
Oh, look at you. Look at your fancy backdrops. Wow.
Fancy. Well, we just had Dave Stewart of the Eurythmics, so we cleaned up.
We clean up.
Oh, well, I'm impressed that you talked to Dave of the Eurythmics, and,
yes.
and now you're gonna come slum it with me and
Slum it. Come on. You're a legend. Let's get right into this. Our next guest is one of the greatest names of LA Punk. The new single from X, John Doe, El Romancero, coming from the forthcoming record. Dark folk solo album is the way they're describing it. Fables in a Foreign Land, going to be available on May 20th. You can pre-order it now wherever you get your music. A bunch of tour dates hitting the road as well. Welcome to the show for the first time from X, John Doe.
Woohoo! Mitch, Jeremy, what's happening?
What's going on?
Well,
So,
we're
Yes.
hanging with a legend. That's what we're doing. What's going on?
you can't go wrong.
Yes. That's what I say every morning when I look in the mirror. How's it going, legend?
I'm telling you. Yeah. By the way,
Never.
when you see police blotters and you see John Doe all the time, does that at some point get?
Well, I've cut back on looking at police blotters. As a matter of fact, funny you should ask.
Yeah.
You see John Doe everywhere. You're like, oh shit, am I dead? Oh man.
Every day it's like, oh my god.
It's entertaining. When you go to a bank and you're trying to deposit or withdraw money and you see your name on the check, it gives you a laugh.
All right.
Sure.
You just sign it X.
Yeah, I was exactly.
3 witnesses, you're good.
Yeah, I was inspired by John Waters and Andy Warhol to change my name, and all the kids in punk rock were changing their names, and so I picked mine, and it was a good thing.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
it worked out. Geez, I'm just thinking about LA Punk and stuff. My buddy Adam LeBourne is a huge fan of X, and he was standing side stage last time you guys played at Punk 77 in Montreal. And I was like, John Doe's coming to the show. He's like, what? So he gave me a whole bunch of questions. But before I get to that, I just want to know,
Yes.
I mean, at the time in LA Punk, did you ever get the chance to hang out with David Lee Roth and any of the guys from Van Halen around the scene?
David Lee Roth was a huge fan of our friend Top Jimmy,
Yeah.
who was a blues singer, and I mean, they were on a whole nother level, and but he was nice enough. He was entertaining. He was a complete maniac, and right on. That's what you're supposed to do when you're the lead singer of Van Halen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you ever just look out and see like David Lee Roth like in the crowd for one of your shows, or
No.
Never came see X?
I don't know. Maybe at some point later on.
Yeah.
No, it was none of the music establishment wanted anything to do with LA punk rock,
Right.
and that was totally fine with us.
Right.
That's like good. I don't, you don't want us at your party. That's fine, because you don't necessarily have to come to ours either.
Yeah.
That's good. We'll just keep it separate.
We'll keep it separate. Quickly talk to me about that, because we do talk about the music business, and of course, businesses are about making money. Was this sort of the anti-establishment thing, and how did you sort of maintain it for all these years, going on almost 50 years, if you weren't about bringing in the pennies and the nickels and the dimes? Talk to me about sort of the business aspect of this, and how do you maintain it?
Well, I think that's a bit of a misconception. I think it was when the DC punk
Right.
came along that it became much more militant. Although the Minutemen were and Mike Watts still is very much a socialist, and I believe in that stuff too. But we just thought we could get into the music business and change it, and just
Right.
get them to sing, to go. We thought we might be, along with the Ramones and Blondie and Talking Heads and, people like that, we thought that we would just be the next version of rock and roll. There's, there's beatniks, and then there's hippies, and then there's punks, and then there's, some goth and whatever.
Right.
We weren't like the Sex Pistols saying we're here to destroy rock and roll and fuck all of you. And
Right.
we, you're stupid and lame and all that. And then the media responded by saying, oh, really? Fuck me? Well, how about fuck you and I don't cover anything you do?
Right.
How about you're fucked? And in the 70s and through the 80s, we're still too weird to be on your average
MTV.
radio station. No, we got a little bit of coverage on MTV, but
Right.
we weren't that type of band. We're still a little bit too weird, and that's okay. Because we didn't have like one hit.
Right.
We have a lot of songs that people might recognize, and that way you kind of maintain your own credibility. And we're in this we're kind of a fortunate sweet spot in that you either changed my life or I don't know who you are, and that's good. It's like, oh my God, you changed my life, or who?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
It's funny that you say that, you guys thought you were going to maybe be like the next, incarnation of like rock and or something. But at the time, I mean, you look at the bands that were coming out of LA and like who the rock bands were, and you had, it was the Van Halen, and like listen to the radio, was Def Leppard, and Motley Crue was coming up, and then it got all hairy and Cannonball Snare. But the punk side, they refused to even go anywhere near that stuff. Was it hard to try and like stay true to your roots and not sort of like sell out?
Or gloss it up?
No, because we didn't. Well, we did try at one point, which was a artistic failure, but actually got us the furthest onto the charts. When we stopped working with Ray Manzarek, we did 4 records with Ray Manzarek, and he was a mentor, and I still miss him. And we thought, well, maybe we started believing our own hype. And I kind of covered this in one of the punk rock books that I was part of collaborating on. And we made a record with Michael Wagner, who had worked with the Scorpions and some other metal bands. Now he works in Nashville, like Mutt Lange, and is, now they've fucked up that that genre as well.
Hey, Mutt Lange did wonders the country.
Yeah. Fucking up rock and roll wasn't enough for them, so they had to go to Nashville and fuck that up too.
That's funny. No, but
well, they use the same motherfucking snare. The same snare sound that was on Motley Crue is now on, Shania Twain and
the Cannonball, the commercial snare, the snare that sells records. You mean?
Exactly. But no, we just, this is all we could do. This is what we knew, and that was to Ray's credit.
Yeah.
He knew that we were pretty well on our way.
Yeah.
And we had developed a sound. And so I'm not going to be a producer and try to make them into something that they're not.
What did Ray bring to the table? I mean, did he tell you some crazy tales from back in the day? Like, what was the experience like?
What he brought to the table was he gave me, and I think he gave Exene confidence and validation. Because here's someone who is part of rock royalty, a la the Rolling Stones or the Beatles. I mean, the Doors have just as much credibility.
They're right up there.
Yeah, they're way up there. And he also just didn't get in the way, and he didn't make it fancy, and he just concentrated, like the Doors, on a good performance, something that tells a story, something that's heartfelt. And I would give him credit for choosing the songs that went on to the first record, Los Angeles. We had a number of songs that were on the second record that were already written when we released LA. And so, that's what he brought.
It's funny that you guys decided to work with Michael Wagner, because I mean, like, that kind of is a bit of a departure.
Well, we just didn't. We thought, because we were going to be the next big thing for like 3 records.
Yeah,
and we weren't. We thought, well, maybe, we don't know. And Exene was driving around in her 1968 Cougar, which was a total fucking hot car.
Nice.
And she heard Wild Thing, and she thought, we could do a version of that. Wouldn't that be fun? And we sort of did it on a whim. And and the record company said, "Oh, try this guy, Michael Wagner. He's fun," and he was fun. And doing Wild Thing was very loose and crazy, and had a big, 15, 20 track chorus going Wild Thing, and it was fun. So we thought, okay, let's do the next record with him. Not really understanding that he was very German and wanted to have everything in its place and everything charted out, and it kind of took away some of the enjoyment of making the record, took away some of the kind of
some of the soul.
Right.
I don't know if it was somewhat, but also just the immediacy of it, the kind of joy and like, whoa,
and the
it's all happening right
spontaneousness.
now.
Was it like
spontaneity?
Yeah. Was it like a scientific way of making a record? Like it's like, oh, that was a great performance. Nah, let's do it 20 more times.
Yes. Yeah. It's
What,
okay. It's a way, but it's just a different process. And I like doing things one way, and people like doing things another way. So you can get to the same end, I think, different ways.
What is your approach to making records? Because I used to talk a lot with Alan Niven of Guns N' Roses, and he'd say, you know what? There is perfection in the imperfection. You capture a moment, and you capture something that has soul to it. Is that how you approached all your record making? Like, four guys in a room or four guys and a girl in a room and let's go? Or do you like the session takes and the let's do it again? And
oh no, I think that I think of a record as a record of what has happened in the time that you're given and at the point you are in your life. So it's a record of that. I just finished a solo record about a year ago, and it's coming out now. Yeah. And it was created on somebody's back porch with upright bass, muffled drums, an acoustic guitar, and a voice. And that's the way we recorded it. We were in a really nice studio in Austin, and we just set up and played, put up a bunch of microphones. Steve Berlin from Los Lobos and Dave Way from Too Many Credits to Mention, both Grammy winners, were the producers along with myself. And we didn't have headphones and we didn't have monitors. And if you fucked up, then you had to do a different take.
Right.
You could cut between takes, but you had to use the whole thing because the vocals were in the bass mic and the bass was in the drum mics, and there was so much bleed. It's a thing. And that's what I prefer to do.
So it's a real proper live record. Like, you'll let the performance be the star.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. And it's very stripped down. We only have a couple of, we don't have any overdubs. We had a couple of guests come in. A woman named Carrie Rodriguez, who's a terrific violin player, and a guy named Josh Baca, who plays button accordion down in San Antonio in an unbelievable conjunto band called Tex Maniacs. And
nice.
If they're ever around here, they mostly play Texas, but they're like real traditional conjunto music. It's awesome.
So it says here that Fables in a Foreign Land is my version of folk music. How is it your version? How is it different than traditional folk music?
I didn't approach it from some academic point of view.
Right.
I didn't, chart out what you're supposed to do. It's just, and talk about the business. I made this very strategic business decision to write a record about the 1890s because it's such a hot topic these days.
Yeah,
totally.
It is.
No, it's not.
That's right.
No, it's not. Maybe when Deadwood was out, but not so much now. Anyway,
you should have tried 1980s. You should have just inverted.
That's really funny because there was a review or an article that started out saying the new John Doe record is written about the bleak times of the 1980s, and it's like, in a way, it was bleak. There were some bleak moments.
It kind of applies.
When Ronald Reagan was president, it was pretty bleak.
Yeah.
We didn't. Yeah.
Well, listen, musically it was terrific. I mean, we had the Eurythmics, and we had U2, and we had Def Leppard. I mean, what else could you ask for in life?
Yeah.
Fables
big music.
Fables in a Foreign Land. The John Doe Folk Trio going to be hitting the road. You catch them at the City Winery in Philly on June 15th. Also performing in Milwaukee at the Shank Hall June 25th. My buddy Adam wanted me to ask you a couple of questions. The first one was, besides fellow Slash record label mates, who else did you like from the LA punk scene?
The Plugs were one of my favorites. The Weirdos had this huge sound. Screamers, of course, because they were just like so far ahead of their time, and kind of a media experience as well. Let's see who else. The Brat from East LA were awesome. I mean, of course, the Germs, depending on on how far they got through their set. they would do this thing. Traditionally, the Germs would play a show, and sometimes it was great, and sometimes it was like not so great. And then invariably, they would end up by playing the song called "Shut Down," which is the last song on their only main record.
Right.
And it was like a war of attrition. And it's a very simple song. It goes dun 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 dun. And then Darby just, kind of riffs over that. And it was like they would play that until the audience left. They would play it like for 10 minutes. And after 8, you're just going like, oh, Jesus, I don't know if I can stay here. And then
it's the same lick the whole time?
Well, it would a traditional kind of blues progression. So it'd be 1, 4, 5. Yeah.
That's a pretty good bit, though.
It's a good bit, but if they really want to clear the room, they just need to throw in a drum solo. People leave right fucking away.
No, they just go get a drink.
Yeah.
They just go get a drink.
Yeah, drum solos are for peeing, right? Exactly.
But yeah, I loved all those bands, and then of course when Los Lobos came on the scene, I would always go see them, and they still can be one of the greatest bands ever on a given night.
Right, right. What was it like working with Terry Funk, Ben Gazzara, Sam Elliott, and Jeff Healey in Roadhouse?
Oh, as much insanity as you can imagine. There was one time that we were driving around Fresno, drunk on our asses. Terry Funk and oh God, I can't remember the other actor. And we got lost. We were going like the wrong way, and we crossed the median down into a ditch and like turned around and went back the other way on a 2-lane highway. Oh God. And it was because we went to go see Merle Haggard's son play at a honky tonk.
That's pretty cool.
There was so much money going around. I mean, they scheduled everybody for like 7 weeks of work, and you would make pretty good money on a thing like that. Maybe $5-7 grand a week.
Damn.
Plus overtime and shit. It's like, yeah, I want to be an actor.
Totally.
You call this acting?
Yeah, that wasn't SAG scale at the time, I'll bet.
No, it was a little more than that. But and it went for like 12 weeks. Mm-hmm. It's like, sign me up.
Yeah,
sure.
Take it if you get it.
It was awesome. And Terry Funk gave me the line, chicken dick. Because it was written like chicken shit. And I said, that's just too cliche. Mm-hmm. Come on, chicken shit. When I'm waving a knife at Patrick Swayze.
Right.
And I said, Terry, what can I say? Come on, man. And being the
wrestler
Texan that he is, Texan wrestler he is, he goes, how about chicken dick?
Oh, that's awesome.
That is great.
It took him all of like 3 seconds to come up with that too.
Well, what was PTA like to work with?
Paul Thomas Anderson was very, very simple and straightforward and encouraging and just do your thing. Get in there and do your thing. And it's very interesting because people that have seen that Boogie Nights will especially when it came out, would come up to me and say, "Oh, you were such an asshole in that part in that movie." It's like, no. Julianne Moore cried after that scene was over, but I was the one. What happened?
You there?
Yeah, I'm here. You just went away.
Oh, I'm here.
No,
I forgot to turn off my phone. I'm sorry. Hold on.
Oh, that's why.
When somebody texts you or something,
yeah. Wait a minute. Hold on one second. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
all good.
Phone is the decline of the Western civilization.
Yeah, it's awful. The new single from X is John Doe, El Romance Zero, available now. Also taken from his forthcoming dark folk solo album, Fables in a Foreign Land, coming out on May 20th. You can pre-order that now wherever you get your music. He's back.
So
He's
unprofessional. I bet Dave Stewart didn't do that.
No. He actually
not.
gave us a tour of his studio. It was terrific.
Oh.
But
Shit.
that telephone, man, it's the decline of the Western civilization. It just
I
is.
totally agree.
Yeah, it throws everything off.
I totally agree.
Just
But
to
what
get-
was it like, by the way, working with Penelope Spheres?
It was a little bit fraught because we were sort of sad and maybe pissed off that she didn't cover the original LA scene with those bands like the Plugs and the Alley Cats and
Right.
things like that, because that was and the Go-Go's was way more inventive and positive. What she was covering was the
dark side.
in the time, the moment in time where hardcore became more dominant and it was more testosterone and it was darker.
Right.
And that was in like late 79, in 1980, when Black Flag and Circle Jerks and people like that were, and their audience, which didn't really get the inclusive artistic part of it.
Right.
But I think she made a great movie. The thing they didn't say is that we filmed our part after we had played 2 shows at the Whiskey, had taken some illegal substances that make you stay awake, and then went back to John and Maxine's house and filmed from like 2 a.m. after we had played the shows, unloaded our gear, came back to the place. They had already set up the lights and everything, and had a tattoo party from like 2 a.m. until the sun came up.
Wow.
And when the sun came up, they said, "Oh shit, we have tinfoil on the windows, but we still have to stop filming because the light is leaking through and it looks different."
Damn.
So yeah, under bizarre circumstances, we made that movie.
I
One
wonder
more
where all that
question about
footage is now, like all those outtakes and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh God, who knows? But the thing
the
about
box.
Paul Thomas Anderson and that scene is that he made a movie so that you identified with the bad people in the movie. And so I was a guy who was trying to keep his kid out of this area where they're making like dirty movies and snorting cocaine and having, like, what's her name, call Julianne Moore, will you call me, will you be my mommy and stuff like that. It's like, I just wanted to keep this kid out of that world. It's like, no, I don't think that that's a good place for a kid to be.
Yeah.
But I'm an asshole because Paul Thomas Anderson is a really good director.
Of course, golden age porn star Veronica Hart in there too. What was she like?
Yes. It's like, I had no idea. I mean, I didn't know those sorts of things back then. So she was just cool. And yeah, then I was told, oh, she's actually does porno movies and has created this whole business out of it. And I thought, well, you go, girl.
Right.
That's the way to do it. If you're going to be it, be the boss.
Might as
If you're
well
gonna be there, be the boss.
Mm-hmm. Well, look, John Doe from X.
I got one more question. I just have
go
one
for it.
question. Just the decline of Western civilization, part 2, the metal years. There are scenes in there that it's come out now that Ozzy and Chris Holmes and all that were sort of staged. What was yours a real movie, the one that you were part of, or were there parts that were staged as well?
I can only speak for our part, and
Right.
that was not staged at all.
Gotcha.
They said, what do you want to do for this? And we had a couple of tattoo parties in the past, and we thought, oh, this will be striking. Let's do that. Cool.
Right.
So although I heard some things about, people being given some illegal substances prior as a rider of sorts.
Oh, really?
Which
Coke was on the rider?
Well, I don't know. It was like, I'll do this if you do that kind of thing.
Ah.
And then they ended up being like not very smart on camera.
Mm-hmm. Completely
Oops.
mangled.
Oops, who cares? I don't care. I'm, 21 years old. What do I care? Fuck you.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
Except when you look back at it now, you just go, "Oh, Jesus Christ!"
Yeah, well, the people I'm thinking about can't look back at it because they're gone. So
Right.
It's like
Yeah.
it just plays into their legend.
That's it.
You know?
Yeah. You let the legend live on, right? Fables in a Foreign Land coming out May 20th. You can pre-order now wherever you get your music. Also going to be hitting the road too. You hit them up on the social media and everything. Visit the website. Of course, X the Band, a couple of different tour dates this year. And John Doe, man, what more do you want? This was absolutely awesome. Total legend right there on our screen.
You're welcome. I am on Instagram as the John Doe, 2 E's, and X the Band, or I think it's X the Band Official.
Okay.
We're doing a big tour with the Psychedelic Furs, and that's going to be fucking great.
Yeah, and I think you guys are coming to Montreal with that show.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're going to have to go check that out, Mitch.
Yes, we are. Psych Furs are coming, yeah.
Yeah, they made a great record back in 2020. X made a record back then. We're playing new songs, old songs. And yeah, I'll be in the East Coast and Midwest in June and on the West Coast in October.
Awesome. Well, we're going to have to catch
Come
up when
on
you're in
down.
Montreal. That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
I'd love to.
Yep.
All right.
Absolutely.
Sounds
There you go.
good.
Till the next time, fellas.
Thanks,
Merci
John.
bien.
We'll see you soon.
All
Cheers.
right. We'll see you very soon.